Well, good afternoon. My name is Richard Lowe, and I am the president of the Yale Club of Argentina. It is my great privilege to be able to introduce to you Martin Urdapilleta, who is the young man that you see on the beautiful background of Yale University in New Haven. This is being taken live at the moment. Before we begin, we would like you, Martin, to explain to us exactly what Tierralta is about. How did it get started? What are your thoughts? What are your hopes?
First of all, thank you very much for having me on this call. Tierralta has a mission to recruit, integrate, and prepare Latin American students into the top universities in the US. We see that there's a lack of representation, and we believe that we can collaborate to further a more diverse campus through a community of students that supports more initiatives to recruit students, focusing on the emotional aspect of the whole preparation and integration process into the US. So I'm a junior right now here at Yale. I came to study here in 2013 at the undergraduate level. I did all my elementary and high school back in Argentina. And since then, I've grown a very strong passion for the Latin American identity and unity. And that is something that I want to foster through my life. And I think that Tierralta is a big part of that initiative and life mission.
Why do you think that it's important for students in Latin America to go to US schools? What has it done for you?
Absolutely. So many Latin American students do consider or come here at the graduate level. But I think that the undergraduate adds a unique component into one's formation and education. And it's because we are right now in a global world, and that demands a global education. And these institutions here in the US, despite being here in America, they're really global institutions. And they prepare you not only on the academics aspects, but also on building a character and connections that are essential for the leaders of tomorrow. So that is why I think that there's a huge amount of untapped potential that future Latin Americans need to take advantage of in order to increase both relations in the Western Hemisphere and to foster growth in a collaborative and united way.
Let me ask you, isn't it expensive to study in the United States? How can Latin American students afford it?
Absolutely. So that's a huge factor that deters many students from applying. But fortunately, there are many different scholarships and programs that fund exceptional students in their education. No one wants to have economic situations as a barrier to education and opportunity. And that is very well considered by both institutions here, which offer need-blind financial aid, and different scholarship programs and private institutions. So the whole conversation changes a lot regarding to funding once students are accepted into the universities. But before that, students really need to be passionate and driven to complete the application process. And if they hear the price ticket and think about it before getting to the university, that could be a problem. That's why with Tierralta, we want to encourage students to complete the application process, and we want to fund all the application fees regarding standardized tests, submissions, visa requirements, certified translations. I want to cover also transportation costs and everything that needs to be paid for students to really give 100% in this very complicated process, together with a community that's supporting them of students, and then explore different scholarship and funding options once they are already accepted into the best universities in the world.
Now, do I understand correctly that you and your partner are planning to take a year off from your education to do this? What is your plan?
Absolutely. So both Isaiah and I are very passionate about this program and think it is of crucial importance, both for our life missions to also just on a political sphere and educational sphere. So we are gonna be in over 30 high schools in more than 20 cities across Latin America, with a strong focus in Argentina to really reach students with this message, to celebrate education and Latin American identity on the way, and really make the biggest positive impact that our time allows.
Well, you are very impressive. I don't have to tell you that we admire you here. Did you have a question?
Okay, yes. Do you think that students from Latin America already know about this opportunity that they have available to study in U.S. universities?
Thank you for that question. That's one of the biggest problems, I think, actually, that students are not aware of the opportunities they have earned themselves through hard work their entire lives. That is one of the biggest components of this project, is to really bring awareness to students of the opportunities they've earned and let them act on them. So this they hear Yale, they hear Harvard, they hear Columbia, and they think of American institutions that are not for them. We're here to change that image, and we know from experience, from personal experience, and also through my Latin American friends here, that students have really their mission of coming, preparing here, and then going back to their home countries with this global preparation, education, and network in order to uplift the region. Our hearts are really in Latin America, and our interests are all in the well-being of the region. So we know that all the selected students in our program also share that same integrity and will come back to really do well and help their home countries.
Why would the United States spend so much money? Because it is expensive. Tell us a little bit how expensive it is. Why would American universities spend so much money to provide humongous scholarships for students who then come back to Latin America instead of staying in the country? What is the thought there?
Yes, and it is really expensive, as you say, and U.S. institutions are willing to pay over $250,000 for students in order to come here. And that is because they really do benefit from their presence on this campus. As I said it before, these are not American campuses, but these are global campuses. And adding the different diversities for a globalized world, for the success in a globalized world is crucial for these institutions. So really having a campus full of the brightest minds from all the regions and countries in Latin America is really in their best interest. And also because on a more long-term perspective, these students that then go back to their countries really allow to form relations that will uplift both the US and Latin America's regions through cooperation and achieve mutual regional growth in the future. So it is in the best interest of both the the universities in the US and the American government for these students to come here.
Well, all of us, speaking for all of us, obviously we agree with you 100%. In fact, we are proof that students do come back. I wanted to come back to you again, Martin, but before I wanted to ask Emily, I wanted to reintroduce Emily Friedrich, and because not only is she a member of our board and an alumni, but in addition to that, she worked for a whole year when she came to Argentina. She is American, and now, so we talk about brain drain. This would be the opposite of brain drain, right? Brain gain, I guess. And she's living in Argentina, but she worked for a whole year for Education USA. So she knows a little bit about this. I wanted your opinion about this project, your concept about what you have seen. Teach us a little bit. You may want to move forward or you want to take this place.
I'll move forward. You don't have to get up. Yeah.
sorry, our speaker.
Martin, it's wonderful to be speaking with you. And
Thank you very much. Same for me.
I hope you can know that we, of course, are 100% behind your project. We definitely believe, as a group of minds, in the value of exchange, and particularly educational exchange, and how much we each personally benefited from an education that was more global in perspective, and would really, are working hard to promote that opportunity for more and more people. So it's wonderful, this project that you and Saya have been working on, and from my time at Education USA, I can certainly say that it's an idea that a lot of people are supporting and wanting to promote as well. So I think one of the questions I had for you is how you plan to build on sort of the existing work that's being done to promote exchange, and how you will sort of work to, how will the work that you are doing add you sort of a unique focus or a unique, push as current students, and why do you think you are particularly well poised to sort of promote this mission and this idea of a global education and of educational exchange, or studying abroad, going elsewhere to study, between Latin America and the United States particularly?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that words, Emily. That was very motivating. And I think that you are bringing a very good point. There is definitely an existing great work being done in this mission, from where Isaiah, I, and the Tierralta team here at Yale are trying to build from. And the way we think that we could uniquely contribute is by adding to the preparation aspect and the awareness of opportunities aspect, this community aspect that is student-led throughout the application. Because we are talking about a very specific region here that is Latin America. And the sense of community is permeated in most activities for all Latin American students, and it's of crucial importance in the application process also. So we are going to try to create a community of students supporting this initiative. We think it's very important for them to be motivated, and I can talk from a personal experience how difficult this whole process can be if you feel like you're doing it alone. So this is also something important for parents themselves, to know that there's a network supporting the students emotionally, and that there are other parents that are going through the same questions and struggles as them. So we are going to build chapters of our organization in all the different Ivy League schools and other top universities. And Latin American students that have gone through the process themselves are going to pair and mentor through one-on-one projects with the Latin Americans from their home countries. So they really feel that there's these students that understand them and that have gone through the same challenges as them and that have overcame them, and showing them, guiding them through this whole process. And we're also going to build networks for themselves to help each other, because sometimes that is many times their biggest resource is each other, helping each other. So we want to create those spaces and connect and make those connections.
You made a brilliant statement. The unique point that you bring to the table, I think, is this social network between students to students. In other words, the student in Latin America will be talking to a peer, someone who has already gone through the process. Of course, us, the alumni, but more important is you guys that are still there. Really, really, really admirable. Congratulations. Bernardo, do you have any thoughts, any concepts?
Thank you very much for your time. We totally agree with your ideas. We believe that there is a lot of things to do to promote your foundation. So we wish you the best.
Yeah, you're going to be successful. There is no question. As I tell the students who come to Argentina from Yale, you're not great because you go to Yale. You're going to Yale because you're great. So believe me, we admire you. Let me ask you a question. Any additional thoughts before we close today?
Yes, of course. So, well, I just want to thank you all for being on this call and for making this time in your very busy lives. I just want to emphasize the importance of having leaders really supporting and motivating us through the whole process, because this mission would certainly not be possible without you guys on our side. So we really want to thank you, current leaders, on this initiative to be here right now and to support us.
Well, thank you, but you got it backwards. You're the one who motivates us. One of the great things about being part of an alumni association is the fact that we have the great privilege to meet students and their idealism. That a student would take an entire year from their life to help fellow students from Latin America get the same education is nothing short of admirable. We have to help. Nobody can stand aside. And certainly the least of us who are the beneficiaries of that enormous education. And I agree with you, people do not leave with their brains, they leave with their hearts, and they come back with their hearts. So the fact is, also, we're moving, as you correctly stated at least twice, and you're absolutely correct, we're moving into a global world where we're all in this together, all right? And if you haven't seen it, I recommend an interview with President Clinton on the Yale Day of Service. As you know, Martin, all of the alumni of Yale alumni around the world are supposed to do something for our communities once a year. And President Clinton was no exception. He was the chairman 2 years ago. And he said, quote, "We're all in this together." And this is what this is about. I mean, the fact is that we're in the Americas. Our foreparents thought of Americas as one single continent. We're bringing it back together the way it should have never been split apart. We're going to bring it together. And this is what this education is going to permit us. So we admire you, we congratulate you, we're going to help you to the best of our abilities. Best of success.
Thank you very much for that. I hope that we are the generation that achieve those ambitions and makes it a reality.
Thank you.